As one wise person once said, 4 and under are just different levels of bad. Was Minions rated 4 and under for me? No, it actually wasn't that bad, but it wasn't so good either. Stay with me and I'll explain why. Hello, and welcome to another review by TP Trailers. I think I'm getting the hang of doing these movie reviews. So first off, I just wanted to say I am not someone who hates Illumination or even Minions. If you are someone who wants me to lambaste Illumination, you've come to the wrong guy. I think some Despicable Me films are great, some bad, and this is one of the lesser ones. So anyways, let's review Minions, shall we? First off, we have the plot. Spoilers. I want to say I loved the intro scene with the song Happy Together. Done in 2D animation, it looked pretty cool. But anyways, let's get to the main film.
Minions have been on this planet far longer than we have.
Yeah, sure they were. By the way, I think the animation for such a small budget actually looked great here. Illumination really should do a prehistoric film someday. Oh, wait. Right. So anyways, we see the Minions try finding evil bosses, as that was their purpose in life, to serve them. But every time they end up getting their bosses killed. After killing Napoleon with a cannon, they are chased away by his soldiers and go into hiding in an ice cave for over 100 years to avoid them serving Hitler or Stalin, or Mao. Wait, was Mao alive by the time they came out of the cave? I'll look it up. Wait a second. Mao was so evil. Scarlet was petty compared to Mao. Why is she considered more evil than Mao? So in the ice cave, without any leaders to serve, the Minions grow lethargic and depressed. So 3 Minions, named Kevin, Stuart, and Bob, venture out of the cave to find a new evil boss. Stuart liked guitars and Bob liked stuffed bears. So they eventually go across the ocean and arrive in New York City. When there, they find their signature overalls and decide to camp out in a department store. While there, they accidentally get on the Villain News channel, where the anchor tells everyone to come to VillainCon the next day. So the next day, the Minion trio hitchhiked a ride in the Nelson family's car. They're a family of criminals, and if you ask me, that'd make a much more interesting film than the Minions we got if it was centered on the Nelson family. Instead of a superhero family, you get a criminal family. Peak comedy. But anyways, eventually they arrive at VillainCon. They meet a few cool villains, including a guy who brings past and future versions of himself to the present, killing them all when he accidentally dies. Then comes the world's greatest and first female supervillain, Scarlet Overkill. She says whoever is able to take her ruby is able to become her workers. All the strong villains try doing it, but the only ones who get it in the end are the Minions. They are hired and go with her to her London home, even though Scarlet isn't British. The trio call up the Minions in the ice cave and tell them about Scarlet, but they say they've already gotten new bosses, some Yetis. However, this ends soon after they accidentally kill their Yeti boss and are chased out of the cave, and they go to find Kevin, Stuart, and Bob. Meanwhile, Bob's goal is to steal the Queen's crown so Scarlet can become Queen, but after Bob pulls the sword out of the stone due to his special stretchy arms thing, courtesy of Scarlet's inventor husband Herb, he is crowned king. And of course, we come back to this. Soon, Scarlet comes and angrily says she was supposed to be queen, so Bob makes a new law which allows him to abdicate the throne.
If I wasn't so polite, I'd say this spells certain doom for the country, if not the world. But I'm so very polite that I shall keep my mouth shut.
However, Scarlet is still angry at the Minions since she wanted to become queen by herself, so she puts them in the torture chamber.
Look at Herb!
Who's this handsome herb fella? No, my name is Blurb.
Where we find out Minions can't be killed. Then the Minions decide to escape the chamber and apologize to Scarlet at her coronation, but they accidentally drop a chandelier on her head. She gets all the villains to chase after them, and 2 of them are caught, but Kevin escapes. Meanwhile, the other Minions arrive in London. Kevin uses Herb's machine to become a giant Minion and fights Scarlet in a battle, swallowing the missile Scarlet threw at him. But since Minions can't die, all the explosion does is shrink him. Then the Queen has a ceremony giving Kevin knighthood, Stuart a snow globe, and Bob a crown for his teddy bear. Then Scarlet tries one last time trying to steal the queen's crown, but she is frozen in a block of ice by a young Gru. He takes the crown and flies off on his weird flying thing. The minions all run after him, convinced he's their new boss. And then we get a credits scene where all the characters are dancing to a song, even the villains. So that's the film. Now, how was it? There were definitely some good parts. A lot of things of the 1960s culture, such as the minions helping fake the moon landing, joining anti-war protests they know nothing about, making fun of British culture, having fanboys for villains. Well, technically she's a girl, but yeah. The animation is actually pretty good for such a low budget, and the music is good, though not particularly memorable, except the songs. Starlet and Herb's relationship is pretty good for them being a villain couple. She tells them an interesting bedtime story about 3 little pigs, but I won't get into that. Some of the inventions were really creative, like Bob's hypnotizing hat, or how Scarlet's plane was shaped. And I loved the whole King Bob part. That was pretty funny. So there's that for the benefits. But then there are so many things wrong with the film too. For one, the plot is really convoluted and just isn't so inspired. Gru becoming the boss at the end was so predictable. Some of the minions' jokes aren't that funny this time around. Scarlet was an okay villain, but really not memorable compared to some of the other villains in the Despicable Me franchise. Her wanting to kill the minions after already getting what she wanted isn't really something I'd imagine any real-world person would do. Who in the world would want minions to take revenge on you? Not me. Also, there were 3 protagonists, which as usual makes things messy unless in the very few cases in which this is done right. They don't talk so much English, so we can't see so much of their personalities, which is a big red flag. This film was obviously a cash grab. You know, I was in Chicago and actually got a Minions pajamas set the year this film was released, but that's off topic. So in conclusion, Minions was a meh film, and I give it a 5 out of 10. Not by any means the best animated film of 2015, but not awful either. And plus, even if this film was a little bad, it gave way to the great sequel, Minions: The Rise of Gru. Well, for me it was great, but I'll talk about that one another time, I guess.
And by the way, it was me, Herb, the whole time. I don't even know anyone named Blurb.